When you set up one of these enclosures, what we've done here is we put 4 strands of high tensile wire. And we use J-clips in order to put the fence on top of the wire. And so your fencing is actually just attached to the high tensile wire. To put a piece of wire onto another piece of wire to continue, all we've done is just J-clipped them together. We crossed them over top of each other by 1.5 feet, J-clip them together and take off running new part of fence. And it's very important, if you pan down and look this way, it's very important when you go to lay a fence up that you clear 7 foot, 8 foot, whatever your fence is going to be, you want to clear a couple extra feet, because when you put that fence up and you have to lift it up and stuff, it's a lot easier to roll that fence out than it is to unroll it standing up. And so if I can teach you anything, make sure you clear enough ground in order to make it so that you can roll it out, because otherwise once it grows up, or if you don't clear enough, it's a bugger trying to get that fence rolled out and stretched. Down here, when you come to going uphill or downhill, anytime you change direction, we use these high tensile wire tighteners, and it's a ratchet style, and we put it on every strand of the high tensile wire, and that keeps your wire super tight. But you've got to use it on both sides. So if you're going uphill or downhill, attach these onto a 4x4, and every 15 foot we end up putting your metal T-stakes. And that's basically how you put one of these enclosures on. You go to put an enclosure in to lay your corners up first. And so this is a 4x6 that was sunk in the ground at least 4 foot. And so how we laid our corners up is we got 2x4s and a second post out, and then we put wire cross members in to draw that in. Other people that I've seen, if you don't put anything in there to draw that back this direction, these posts will just over time bend in. What we've also done is every time that you make a corner or you go uphill or downhill, we use tighteners for that, and it keeps your high tensile wire tight. And if you look on the fence itself, you see these little plastic zip ties. When we were putting the fence up, we zip tied that on real loose, and that way we could drag that fence along instead of having to just have people hold it. So my father and I put this fence up by ourselves. We used 4 strands of high tensile wire to put it together, because we live in deer country and deer will leave a face print in this stuff. We also used the vinyl coated wire. I only wanted to build it one time, where if you use the chicken wire, you got 7 years in Michigan, and you've got holes in it, and so it's worth your while to us to never have to redo it. I think when I'm dead and gone that this wire will still be good and standing. But that's how we recommend tighteners for your fence, and vinyl coated fencing. And we put our metal T-post in about every 15 foot. That way you've got a good stretch on it. And so deer or anything hits that, it still stands pretty good. Here in Michigan we only have 5-foot fence, which I'm standing in a lot of snow. But places like Maine, my friend in Maine, he has to have an 8-foot fence, because the snowfall is twice as much as we get in the course of a year. So if you look at this post right here, and you look at the top, those are those night guard lights. You've got to do something with your owls and your hawks, and so we put these night guard lights in strategic places, and they actually work. They start blinking red just at dusk, and they blink all night long. They're solar power, so that you don't have to do anything with them. They're just hanging there for 3-4 years. We've had them now for 3 years, and we haven't had a problem with any of them. They still blink real good and strong every night. Anybody who's got an enclosure should start making these kind of things right here, because hawks and owls will pick you off. I've got these night guard lights. I've got 10 night guard lights around here. Then they come on at evening and they go off in the morning. But during the day, you don't have anything to guard your pen, and so the least little bit of wind will make noise or make these things move and shine and keep the hawks away. Until you put those in, you always have hawk problems. But yeah, you find all these things at your local bait shop. You know, steel leaders for pike, extra swivels, and drill holes and things, and hang them up. Anything to make noise, and anything like that pie plate up there, they hate that. Birds just hate that because it just is all over, just haphazard.